Hi everybody! So today I get the pleasure of teaching you how to create another minion designed by Jess Davies, also known as CraftLover17 on Instagram. These are the supplies that you're going to use to complete him. I will be using the neon green for his body, and for his body you're going to use the Super Minion's body. So you can actually just search Loomigurumi Minion body and the video will come up. Or I'm going to put the link in my description box below. You could actually click at the top corner of this video, and I'll also put the link in the comments section. When you're making the body, this is what the video will show you how to create. All you're going to do is just change the color to whatever color you want to use. So I do hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Round one of the arm. I'm going to do one, and then you're going to pause the video and make yourself another. I didn't stuff this arm, so it's up to you if you want to add the polyfill. I'm going to start off with black, and I'm going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to bring 5 bands through one at a time. So reach in, grab your first band, put on your hook the other end, and you're going to bring 1 loop over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band to bring through, on your hook, and bring these 2 loops over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your third band, bring through, same thing, 2 loops over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your fourth band, bring through, on your hook, and 2 loops over. And your last band. Attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You should have 5 stitches, so let's move our bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. For round 2, the pattern is 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. At the end of round 2, you will have 8 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain, and I'm going to add 1 band. Now on my next 3 chains, I'm going to add 2 bands. So going in my next chain, bringing 1 band through, on my hook and slide. Go back in for your second band, bring through and slide. Now the next chain with 2. 1, go back in, 2. And the next chain, 2. Back in, and now the last chain, we're adding 1 band. So you should have 8 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 3, we're going to do 8 single crochets, so adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. At the end of round 3, you're going to have 8 stitches. So let's go in our first chain with 1 band. Chain 2 with 1 band. And so just keep going, 1 band in each chain until you get to the stitch marker. And the last one. You should have 8 stitches, and you can remove that stitch marker. For round 4, we're going to do 8 single crochets and just grabbing the inside loop. So I'm changing color to the green color, and I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. So let's start our first one. Don't go where it's getting pulled. You want to go into the next one. So normally I would go like this. You want to grab just the inside loop, so the first little loop of that chain. You're going to bring your first band through as a slip stitch, so bring it through all of your stitches on your hook and slide. The next one, inside loop, one band through that loop on your hook and slide. And you're just going to continue until you get to the stitch marker. If you can't find your stitches, open it up and the last one. You should have 8 stitches. Don't count where your slip knot is. This is your first chain. Remove your stitch marker. For round 5, we're going to increase on every 4th stitch. So the pattern is 1, 1, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this one more time. So let's go on our first chain, and we're going to bring one band through. Next chain with 1. The next with 1. And our 4th chain, we're adding 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. And repeat one more time. 1, 1, 1, and 2 in the last. Remove your stitch marker. For round 6, 7, 8, and 9, we're going to do 10 single crochets. So adding one band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to do round 6 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to complete the rest. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and adding your first band. The next, one band. All the way until you get to the stitch marker. And the last one. Should have 10 stitches still. Remove your stitch marker and pause the video to complete the rest of the rounds. For round 10, we're going to decrease and make this round smaller. So at the end of round 10, you're going to have 8 stitches. The pattern is 1, 1, 1, 4, and 5 together. 1, 1, 1, 4, and 5 together. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, with one band. Chain 2 with 1. Chain 3, 1, and now you're going to take 4 and 5 and stitch together. And repeat one more time. 1, 1, 1, 4, and 5 together. You should have 8 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For rounds 11 and 12, you're going to do 8 single crochets, so adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. I'm going to do both rounds. First chain with 1. Chain 2 is 1, all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker and continue with 12, round 12, 1 band in each chain. Last band, slip knot to tie it closed, and I'm going to add 2 bands for the sewing bands. So what I'm going to do is, putting this nice and neat, I'm going to find the center somewhere, so through 2 chains, front and then the back ones, and I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So just like these are our sewing bands. And I'm going to do one so it's even with this one, so that means I'm going to go at the end here through 2 of the chains and do another slip knot. So it's up to you if you wanted to stuff it. I didn't, I'm not going to. Now I'm going to show you how to do the foot, and I think the foot is really neat. For the life of me, I couldn't understand the pattern, and Jess really helped me out by taking step-by-step pictures of how to create this. So I'm going to show you because this was rather fun to make. It's pretty neat. So to show you what it's going to look like, this is the foot. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off making a chain with 4. So a chain of 4. I'm going to use a different color band for the cap band, and I'm going to end up breaking it in half because you don't end up needing the cap band. What I'm going to do is, so any color band that you want to do and use that you don't mind cutting off. So I'm going to wrap this around my hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to chain 4. So I'm just going to slide my band on, grab the end, and make a chain with 3 more. And I just learned how to do this foot about 20 minutes ago. So I'm going to try my best to show you how. So this is what you need before you start round 1. So for round 1 of the foot, this is how the pattern's going to sound. 1 single crochet, followed by an increase. Then you're going to do 6 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then it's going to have an increase in the next and an increase in the last, and then we're going to use our stitch marker. So let's get started. We're going to keep our bands on our hook like this, and we're going to put our hook in the next stitch. So you want to hold on to these, go into the next stitch, and you want to bring 1 band through, just your chain, and on your hook. So you have the 4 loops. Now slide. Now we need to do an increase. So we're going to go in our middle stitch here with our hook through the center, and we're going to add 2 bands, 1 at a time. 1 and slide. Go back in add your second band through the chain on your hook and slide. Now we're at our last chain where our band is right here, our cap band. We're going to add 6 bands one at a time in that same stitch. So that was 1. Go back in, add another, your second. Go back in, that same chain. Go back in. Go back in for your 5th band. And one more time in that same stitch. Now, if you have a pair of scissors, great. I don't have a pair of scissors in front of me. I'm going to take this band off. So I'm just going to break it and remove it. Now we have 2 stitches left. We're going to add 2 bands in our first one here and 2 bands in our last one. So going in the next stitch, adding 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. And then we have our last stitch, 2 bands. And go back in. So you have 14 stitches if you count around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is on your hook. Add your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. For round 2, we're going to increase this round to 20 stitches. So from 14 to 20. This is what the pattern is going to sound like. 1 increase, followed by 3 single crochets, followed by 4 increases, followed by 5 single crochets, followed by an increase. Will give you 20 stitches. So let's go on our first chain with 2 bands. 1, go back in for your second band. Now you're going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1. Now 4 increases. So 2, 2, 2, 2. Back in. The next with 2. Back in. 2. Back in. Just to give you an idea, this is where I'm at, and 2. Back in. So you should see I have 6 stitches left, and I still have 6 pieces of my pattern left. So now we're going to do 5 single crochets, adding 1 band in the next 5 chains. Now we're at where our stitch marker is, we're adding 2 bands. Back in. So again, you should have 20 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 3, what we're going to do is 20 single crochets. with just grabbing the inside loop only. So just the inside loop all the way around, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So at the end of round 3, you're going to have 20 stitches still. You're going to go in your first inside loop only and bring your band through. We're creating a base, so we're growing up. The next chain, the next inside loop, bring your band through and go around. The next, inside, all the way around till you get to the stitch marker. The next. And your last one. So again, you should have 20 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. For round 4, we are going to decrease on this round to 17 stitches. So the pattern sounds like this: 5 single crochets followed by 3 decreases. And we're going to do 3 invisible decreases, so I'm adding an extra band. Then 9 single crochets, and you'll reach the stitch marker. So let's do the 5 single crochets, adding 1 band in the first 5 chains. This was 1, 1, 1, the 4th with 1, and then the 5th. Now you're going to do 3 decreases. So I'm doing that invisible decrease. So I'm going to do a slip stitch in the first one, in this one, and my next one with a slip stitch. So bring it through the chain, on your hook, and slide, leaving it on your hook, and going into the next chain beside it, and bring your band through the chain, make a slip stitch or slip knot. You'll have the 3 bands and you want to slide. Now we're going to do this again, so going in our next stitch with 1 band, bring it through the chain, on your hook, and slide just in that loop, leaving it on your hook. I'm going to go in the next chain and repeat, bring it through the chain, slide, so you have the 3 loops, and this is how we just did a decrease. And one more time. Slip stitch in the first, leave it on your hook, the next one, slip stitch, leave it on your hook, 3 loops, slide. Now you're going to do 9 single crochets. So you'll see that you have 9 stitches left till you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 17 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 5, this is the pattern. I'm going to tell you how it sounds. 3 single crochets followed by 3 invisible decreases. So I am going to add an extra band to use when we decrease, then 8 single crochets until you hit the stitch marker. So let's go on our first 3 chains with 1 band in each. Now, 3 invisible decreases. You're going to go in your chain, bring your band through and do that slip stitch, leave it on your hook, and the next one, bring your band through your chain, slip stitch, 3 loops, and slide. We're going to do this again. And one more time, invisible decrease. Now you have 8 stitches left and you're going to add 1 band in each of those chains. So remove your stitch marker. You should have 14 stitches and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 6, this is the pattern. It's going to sound like this. 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease, but I'm going to catch 3 stitches when we do our invisible decrease. Then you're going to do 5 single crochets in green, and you're going to just continue with 4 single crochets in purple until you get to the stitch marker. When I change color, I'm not doing a slip stitch, I'm just going to crochet. So let's do our first 2, 1 band in the first 2 chains. The next. Now you're going to do an invisible decrease with 3 of the stitches. That's going to make this whole area a little bit tighter. Keep it on your hook. Go in the next. Bring your band through that chain. Slip stitch. 3 loops. Continue. Another chain. The last band, bring it through. On your hook and do that slip stitch. And you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 bands on your hook. Just slide. Now 5 single crochets with green. Now 4 single crochets with purple. You'll have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just crochet. So you should have 12 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 6, we're going to do 12 single crochets in the inside loop only. So adding one band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around till you get to the stitch marker. So let's go on our first chain and grab that inside loop only. And we're going to bring our band through just that little loop on our hook and slide. The next one, if you can't find it, just open it up. Inside loop. Bring your band through the loop and slide. And continue till you get to the stitch marker. And the last one, remove your stitch marker. Should still have 12 stitches. For round 8, this is the pattern. 4 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm going to add my extra band. You're going to repeat this one more time. 4 single crochets, so 1 band in the 4 chains, followed by a decrease. I'm doing an invisible, so I'm adding a band. So let's add 1 band in our first 4 chains. 1, 1, 1, and 1 more. Now we're going to go in our next chain, grab our band and do that slip stitch, leaving it on our hook, and grabbing the next one, slip stitch, slide, leaving it on our hook here, and we have 3 loops. Now slide. You're going to repeat this one more time. The last 2 stitches are a decrease, make sure you remove that stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. And for round 9, our last round for the boot, we are going to do 10 single crochets, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So let's go in our first chain, and you're going to add your first band, our next chain with 1, all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. The last band, you want to do a slip knot to tie it closed. You can remove that stitch marker, and you want to grab a little bit of stuffing, and you want to fill the boot. You might need a little bit more stuffing than this. I don't know where my stuffing went. Let's see it. Okay, so you want to fill it like this, so it's nice and neat. I'm going to need to go find a little bit more. Round 1 of the bodysuit, we're going to do 8 single crochets in the magic ring, and I'm using the purple color. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now take your first band and pull it through. Hook in, grab your band, and bring your loop over. You want to bring your bands to the side, and you want to just continue going around. Your second band through, on your hook, 2 loops over, and continue. Attach your stitch marker to that band that's around your hook, and you can remove this off the loom. You should have 8 stitches. Move your bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is on your hook. For round 2, we're going to add 2 bands in each chain around. So 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way around. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 16 stitches. So going in my first chain, I'm going to add my first band and then go back in to add the second. Go back in, that same chain, and now moving on to the next chain with 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. And you're going to continue this all the way till you get to the stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 3, the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. At the end of round 3, you're going to have 24 stitches. So let's go on our first chain with 1 band. Chain 2 with 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. And repeat, 1, 2. One, 2. You're going to continue this pattern until you get to the stitch marker. I'm at my stitch marker and I'm adding 2 bands. Back in. So you should have 24 stitches. Remove that stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 4, I'm going to increase on every 3rd stitch. So the pattern is 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this pattern 8 times. At the end of round 4, you're going to have 32 stitches. So let's go in our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and you're going to add your first band. Chain 2 with 1. And chain 3, you're adding the 2 bands one at a time. Back in. And you're going to repeat 1, 1, 2. Back in for your second band, and you're going to repeat 1, 1, 2. Repeat this pattern all the way until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 32 stitches. Remove that stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For rounds 5 to rounds 10, we're going to do 32 single crochets. So adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 32 bands, so at the end of each round you're going to have 32 stitches. I'm going to do round 5 and then you're going to pause the video to complete the rest of the rounds. So let's go in our first stitch, not where it's getting pulled, and you're adding 1 band. The next stitch with 1. And you're just continuing until you get to the stitch marker. The last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. And I will come back for that last stitch. Keep going. Each time you complete the round, make sure that you remove that stitch marker. So please pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So I'm at the last band on round 10 of the suit, and I'm going to do a slip stitch to tie it closed. So I'm going to go on my last, or slip knot, I'm going to go on my last stitch, and I'm going to bring my band through all of the loops that are on my hook, and I'm going to tie it off. And you can remove the stitch marker, and this is what it looks like. Round 1 of the goggle, we're going to do 8 single crochets in the magic ring. So with your first band, you're going to wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to bring 8 bands through, one at a time. So reach in, bring your first band through on your hook, and bring your loop over, and make sure you bring it to the side. Back in for your second band, bring through on your hook, and 2 loops over. Back in, and you're just going to continue 2 loops over and bring it to the side. And just continue. You're going to attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove it off the loom. You should have 8 stitches. Move your bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is on your hook. Round 2 of the goggle. This is what the pattern is going to look like. We're going to increase on every stitch, so adding 2 bands, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way around. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 16 stitches. I'm going to do 4 increases with white and then 4 increases with my green. When I get to the green, I'm going to do a slip stitch to change the color. So let's go in our first chain, adding 2 bands. Go back in that same stitch for your second band and repeat 2 bands. Back in. The next stitch. Go back in. The next stitch. Back in. Now you have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This will continue the pattern. So let's go on our next stitch, changing the color, do a slip stitch, and slide. Go back in that same stitch with your second band. Now continue until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 16 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 3, this is the pattern, 7 single crochets and 1 increase. Then you're going to change the color, 7 single crochets and 1 increase. And at the end of this round, you'll have 18 stitches. When I change color, I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I'm starting in my first chain with a different color. So I'm going to bring it through all of my bands that are on my hook, grab the end and slide. The next stitch with 1. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. My 7th. And my 8th stitch, I'm adding 2 bands. Back in. Now I'm going to repeat the pattern until I get to the stitch marker. I'm changing the color, so I'm going to go on my first stitch, not the little slip knot, bringing my band through all of the bands that were on my hook and slide. And now just continue, and your last stitch you're adding the 2 bands. So you should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. For round 4, I'm changing to the gray color in case you can't see. And I'm going to do 18 single crochets in the inside loop only. So just adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm changing color, so I'm going to start off with the slip stitch, and I'm going to go to my first chain and just grab that inside loop only. Bring your band through, on your hook and slide, and the next one, inside loop only, inside loop, all the way until you get to the stitch marker. When you get to the green, be careful, don't grab the little slip knot. So you can remove that stitch marker. And we have one more round for this piece left to do. For round 5, the last round, we're going to do 18 single crochets. So adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. I'm still using the gray color. So let's get started. Don't go in your little slip knot. Make sure you're going in your chain. And 1 band. the next chain with 1. Your last band, you're doing a slip knot to tie it closed. Last band, bring it through all of the loops and tie it off. Remove that stitch marker and you want to turn this inside out. We're going to hide this slip knot now, so I'm just going to hide it in the little loops here. Now we're going to do the back strap in a black color, and this is what it's going to look like. So there's 3 rounds to this, and first we're going to start off with doing a chain of 29. So I have 30 bands here. Our first band is going to be our cap band that I'm going to wrap. So you can see 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You're going to need 30 bands. Your first band is going to be a cap band that you're going to wrap around your hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to do a simple chain. So your first band, you're going to attach to your hook inside this band, your cap band over, and you're just making a simple chain. We need a chain of 29. So you can just continue doing the same thing, sliding the bands on, and you've got your simple chain. Take your time. You don't want the bands twisted, so just take your time doing this. So now I have a chain of 29. For round 2, what we're going to do is attach our little chain here. We're going to attach this end with our cap band right at the end. I'm going to use 30 bands to do this round. When you're attaching this end to this end, the cap band, make sure that it's not twisted. Like, you don't want to have it all twisted. You want to make sure that it's completely flat. So it's easy if you put it flat on your workspace, and you want to put your hook through the cap band. So those 3 little loops right at the end. and make sure that it's flat and not twisted. Now I'm going to bring my first band through all of these loops and do a slip knot. So bring all my loops through and grab the other end and slide. You don't need to pull too hard. Now I'm going to do a reverse stitch, so I'm going to be working backwards. So I'm going to just turn it around. Normally we would just go in here, but I'm just going to turn it around so I'm working the other way. And my hook is going to go in each chain around, so I'm going to do a single stitch on each chain until I get back to the end. So just to show you again, normally you would go this way. I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to bring my first band through my chain on my hook and slide. And I'm just going to go all the way around. If you don't turn, the worst that's going to happen is it's just not going to meet at the end. So this was me trying. And I forgot to turn. So I'm going to go in the next stitch and just doing your single crochet, adding one band. The next. So you can see how I'm working the opposite direction, and I'm going to go all the way around, and you're going to see where you need to stop. If you didn't count 30 bands, you're going to find your your cap band, and you're going to know automatically where to stop. So just continue all the way around. Just going in the chains. Making sure that you're not twisting it and you're going like you're turning it or something. Try to keep it as flat as you can and try not to rush. If I am going too fast for you, just please pause the video. Oops, I didn't grab the chain. And I'm back where I started at the cap band. And this is where you should have what you should have. So I'm going to start you off. You're going to go in your chain. I'm just going to start you off so we don't let go. You're going to go in your first chain and just hold your hook there and keep it there until I set out the bands again. And you're just going to go around again, the single crochet, one band in each chain. So for round 3, again, 30 bands. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to grab my first band and bring it through that first chain that we had our hook set already. And continuing around. And we're still working in that reverse stitch. So you're just going through the chain if you can't see. And your last band, if I didn't say already, sorry, you're going to do a slip stitch with your last band to tie it closed, and then we're done with the strap. Again, if you're not counting, you're going to know where to stop. You're going to see a difference. They're going to not meet up. You're going to see where to meet up when you're done. So I'm back at my slip knot here. You can see it. I'm going to go one stitch over. I actually just needed 29 bands, sorry. I'm going to just stretch this out, and you're going to see the little cap band is right here. I'm just going to go one stitch over and do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to bring it through all of the loops and grab the end and tie it closed. And your little strap is done. It's not twisted, it's flat, it's straight. And we're just going to hide the little slip knot. So you can just go in the same direction in the little stitches here and bring your little slip knot through. Keep going just to hide it. Of the goggle strap. We're going to do the exact same thing by just going around one band in each chain in the reverse way. You might want to attach a stitch marker now, and you're just going to do the same thing by adding one band. I'm only going to do part 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to complete it. So we're just making a thicker strap than we did with the Superman Minion. And your last band, you want to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So please pause the video, and you want to just continue until you get to the stitch marker. When you're done, come back to me. Now to attach the eye, I'm going to be using the googly eye here, and you're going to want to attach it to the white part just above the green part. So however you'd like to, whatever you would like to use, there's the button options, the googly eyes, the magic ring, just use that 12mm safety eye. So whatever you're comfortable with, I'm just going to attach a googly eye here, put a band at the back, and a pony bead. And I'm actually going to secure this with another white band. And then just hide it. Then you're just going to attach this. I think I'm going to use white. You're going to attach this to the strap. So I'm going to use the back part of this one where we started and stopped. And I am going to go through these stitches and I'm going to bring a black band through. And let go. Now I'm going to bring each one of those through. I'm going to keep it on my hook. Try not to pull too hard. And you want to find the other one. Bring it through. And I'm going to secure this with a slip knot. Just like that.